Hey everyone, it's Dinah from Premier Health Insights, and today on Medication Approval Insights on the Health Insurance Insights Network, I have one question for you. Do you know what a formulary is? As some of us are still going through open enrollment and we are preparing for 2026, we're going to tackle this term today that confuses each and every one of us at some point during our healthcare journey. So, if you've ever gone to the pharmacy and been shocked that your medication was no longer covered or that it cost way more than it did last month, this video is for you. All right, so what is a formulary really? Um, a formulary is your health plan's official list of covered medications. Think of it as your plan's official medication menu because it shows you what's covered, what's not covered, how much you'll pay depending on the drug's tier. Um, let's get into tiers just a little bit. Tier one is going to be your generic drugs, that's going to be the lowest cost for you. Tier two is going to be your preferred brand. Tier three and four is there, that will be your non-preferred brand or specialty meds. That's going to be a very high cost. And then some plans have a tier five that is specifically for injectables or biologics. Um, so yeah, you okay. So now that we have discussed what the formulary is, now let's move on to why the formulary changes. Every year during open enrollment, you should be checking to see that your medications are still covered. Formularies aren't permanent. They can change every year, they can change every quarter, they can change every month, but you should at least be checking it during your open enrollment time. This is the reason that you may go to the pharmacy in September and your medication costs $20, and then you go back in October and it's $80 because the formulary changes. Or you may go and it's not covered at all, and you're like, wait, what? Yeah. Um, But the reason that these formularies change, I mean, we live in the United States and this is the world of pharmaceutical companies, is because the insurers negotiate their drug prices yearly. And this results in new step therapies, prior authorization requirements changing for medications, and this is all a part of their formulary management. If you don't remember, step therapy is you have to do this in order to do that. And you usually have different step therapies that lead to you needing a prior authorization. Okay. Now, the other thing that you should know is that each plan has its own formulary. If you have Humana, that's Humana HMO, and your neighbor has Humana PPO, it is highly likely that you do not have the same formulary. So your neighbor cannot do the work for you and tell you what's covered because they may have a different plan. I'm sure this happens often with insurance because we like to share information. But even if you have an employer sponsored plan, if the company offers three different Anthem plans or two different Aetna plans, then you may not have the same formulary based on what you choose. Sometimes you will, most times you won't. That's something you need to know. All right. How to check your formulary? Yes, I heard you ask the question. I am going to show you. As an example, I have pulled up the state health benefit plan for Georgia's website, and we are going to navigate it so that we can figure this out together. All right, are you ready? So just so you all know, you can normally check right on your insurance company's website. You just looking for a link that's going to say drug list or formulary. I am here on the state health benefit plan for Georgia, and I am scrolling to the bottom, and here I have found prescription coverage. If you cannot find the plan immediately, just look for an area that says prescription or pharmacy coverage, and it will lead you in the direction that you need to go in. All right, so this is Georgia. This is an Anthem plan. This is their prescription coverage. And right here, I see CVS Caremark. I am going to click here because I know that that drug list is going to be there for next year. Right now, it's only showing me the 2024 and the 2025 list, but I want to see the 2026 list. CVS Caremark is their third party for their insurance. All of their authorizations go through them. So let's click here to see if they have the information that we need. All right, so now we are on the CVS Caremark's website for the State Health Benefit Plan of Georgia, and we're going to scroll down. And remember, I told you that the plan can change. You will have a different, or you can have a different drug list based on your plan. This is the best example of it. This is the state of Georgia. This is their HRA Gold. This is HRA Silver. This is Bronze. This is the HMO. This is the high deductible health plan. But you're finding your drug cost here based on your benefit plan. They are even showing copay changes for 2026. And this one is just your cost. So you can do that on the site as well, but I am going to scroll down to their formulary. Here are the 2025 and the 2026 preferred drug list. I am going to click here where it says 2026 Georgia State Health Benefit Plan Preferred Drug List. There's also a specialty pharmacy drug list here. The State Health Benefit Plans co-payment and co-insurance waiver medication list is here. Their tobacco cessation medication list is there. And then the retail, it says 90 pharmacies in Georgia by alphabet. I have not clicked on those, and we are not getting into that today. Right now, we are going back to this drug list, and we are going to click and see what happens. And this is why most people do not check the drug list. This one is 43 pages. And who wants to go through 43 pages? I will tell you, I am one of those people who wants to go through 43 pages. I do not take any medication for any reason month to month, but my husband does, so I do check to make sure that his medications are covered. All right, so this is what it looks like, and this is likely why you all are not checking the list because it looks scary. But just so you know, it tells you the type of drug or what it's for, and whether or not it needs a prior authorization. That's what PA stands for, prior authorization. The QL is quantity limit. It's just telling you there's a quantity limit for this drug. I am going to try to go find something on the list that you all may be familiar with. But yes, it is scary. This is what it looks like, but you still do need to check the list to make sure your medications are on there. Now, I will tell you, I do take cyclobenzaprine as needed. It is on the list. So if I were a state of Georgia recipient and this was my plan, then my medication would be covered. No prior auth. All right. Try to find something else. Diabetic supplies are on here. But yes, so this is why you all don't check the list, because it is scary. It is scary. But they do break it down for you. And some plans are a little different. This is their tier 3. And it's telling you here that this preferred options list for non-preferred is tier 3 for state of Georgia, and that prior authorization is required on all non-preferred medications, all of them. So you don't even need to check for prior auth because it is required. Let's go back up to see if we can find a different tier. The list, you guys, it's often broken down based on the type of medication. So diabetic supplies, if it's a menstrual issue, medications for that. But yes, this right here is why you all don't check the list. And guess what? This is why this list look like this, because they know you're not gonna check it. Now, some plans it's a little bit different. The medications, you can list the medication into the system and it'll populate and tell you. So it's a digital list. And they may have one and I haven't found it yet. But I don't generally use theirs. This is only for today. I personally would rather the list look like this with a table. I love tables. But these are self-administered autoimmune non-preferred medications. Usually, guys, if it's autoimmune, it is going to require an authorization. But again, you see here, it's listed according to the condition and the drugs that are covered. These are non-preferred for this condition. This is ankylosing spondylitis. These are the non-preferred drugs. These are the preferred drugs. Rheumatoid arthritis. This is what's preferred. This is non-preferred. This is how you read your list. If it's non-preferred, it is going to cost more than the preferred medications if you can get it approved. Because there will be situations where the non-preferreds will not be approved because you have to try, remember those step therapies. You have to try this in order to get to that. And it may be you have to try this, and that before you can try this. That happens quite often with injectables. All right. Now, just as a tip, I want you all to search by both brand and generic names. And if your medication isn't listed, call your plan or your pharmacist before switching. I'm going to say call your plan, not your pharmacist. If you're calling your pharmacist, they can tell you if there's a generic that you don't see for it, but your doctor's office could also tell you that same information. But I would call the plan first and just kind of ask, hey, I don't see my medication listed. It was listed last year. Is there a different medication, for this same indication if you don't see anything? All right, now let's move on. Okay, what to do if your medication isn't covered? If your medication isn't on your plan's formulary, don't panic. This happens quite often. There are options that you have to explore. One, ask your doctor if there's an alternative or a lower tier medication that may work better for you or that may work as an equal. to the medication you were taking. Ask your provider to submit a formulary exception request if there's a medical reason. Now, I'm going to back that up just a little bit. If there is a documented medical reason that you can't use the alternatives, sometimes in my experience, I have had patients who want to take a medication because they say this medication is the one I want to take. Your plan doesn't care that it's the one you want to take. So I'm just going to put that out right now. They want to know that you have a medical documented reason for not taking their preferred medication. And then you can also check to see if there's a manufacturer's coupon or a copay program or a patient assistance program for the drug that you want to take, because you may have some options out there that you haven't explored. And don't wait on your doctor's office to do this. Sometimes you have to get out there and explore these yourself, because sometimes you actually have to be the person to apply, and it can't be the person at your doctor's office. Keep that in mind. Now, understanding your formulary, it does help you to avoid surprises at the pharmacy, and it makes sure that your treatment stays affordable and uninterrupted. The worst thing that could happen is a delay that has a result on your care. So you want to be proactive in this matter. We are in November. Go on and look at those formularies now for 2026 so that you will not be surprised come January. All right. Now, if this was helpful, make sure to subscribe to the Health Insurance Insights Network, and you can join the Insights Collective, but we'll have weekly medication coverage tips every Tuesday. See you next week.